Welcome to the Rob and Benny experiment, the RnBe. But you know what today? Today, guys, it is not the RnBe. It is the RDNBGQRSTYVWX. Zip it up, Dan.
STUV.
Benny knows his alphabet. He watches Sesame Street. Go Big Bird. Anyway, welcome to the Rob and Benny experiment. This is the podcast that we run typically every Saturday. It goes live on Comicstorian. I don't believe this episode's going out the week that we are airing it, so you're going to see some stuff that we're going to be discussing that will, because long story short, if you want this, if you want to watch this live, join us on Thursdays over at our Twitch channel, twitch.tv/eligiblemonster, where we record our topics. Or you can join us over on our Patreon, patreon.com/comicstorian, where we also give you early access to the RnBes as we film them, as opposed to waiting for them to go live on the channel on Saturdays. Today's topic is going to be the MCU. How would we bring the villains back? Should we bring the villains back? But before we get to that, as of today, or this morning, Shazam photos were released. And I know this episode's not going to line up with when those came out, but you are going to get to see Rob's live reaction to looking at Shazam photos.
Like, these photos are old to you guys, but it's like a used car. It's a new to me car. So
It's new to me.
yeah, that's okay. So, all right, Shazam. Set photos.
Here it goes. Oh, and for the record, if there is a sponsor, this is where it'll be inserted. If there isn't, I'm just looking at the camera. Join us on Patreon or Twitch. We would greatly appreciate it. I'll open up a portal in the middle of the episode in case we have to plug something in, too. Portal opens! I'm making a shirt. Portal opening, and then the three of us just coming out.
I like that idea. I really like that idea.
And then it's the RDNB.
In the background, there's going to be Hogwarts for his sake.
Yes! Coming out of the portal, Rob will be in a Hogwarts robe.
Is that Shazam and Billy Batson?
Yeah, no, it's Shazam and Freddy.
Oh.
Freddy's his friend, yeah.
Okay.
I thought that was Billy Batson, and I was like, that looks so perfect for the two of them.
Well, they're the same character.
No, I know.
No. Billy Batson and him, yeah, that's Freddy.
Yeah,
If you know the plot, I think, because that scene right there makes me think of Jeff Johns' Shazam storyline that came out in the New 52.
You mean like as a backup feature in Justice League?
Right, no, but then he released the book itself. That was the new Shazam origin. But yes, it was. But if you read it all together as a trade, it played out very much like a movie would. And that scene is almost ripped right out of that book.
Huh. That's cool, I guess.
That's cool. You don't like the suit? Doesn't it look better when they touch up the photos and actually release a photo?
I mean, it's Shazam. I mean,
it's Shazam!
I was expecting a different reaction.
I was too. It's Shazam. What is wrong with you?
Oh, that's Shazam.
It's Shazam. He can beat up Superman.
It's a kid who just yells Shazam and gets Superman's powers.
Right, and he fights Black Adam.
Fights The Rock.
The Rock!
That's what I'm excited to see, is him fighting The Rock, but I mean, it's Shazam.
Why you gotta be like this? Why you gotta be like this?
What are you talking about?
It's Shazam! Shazam!
The only Shazam story I ever really liked was like The Power of Hope, but outside of that, he's just a guy who's
okay, I'll give you this. The problem with Shazam is he's one of those obscure DC superheroes that, unless you were reading comics in like the 70s, has not had a consistently good storyline for like 30-something years.
He hasn't had his own solo series in years.
Well, no, he did. Technically, he was the backup feature in Justice League, and then they had Darkseid War, and we have not seen him since.
He's around there somewhere. Supposedly, he's going to come back in Doomsday Clock.
Yeah.
From what I understand, but I don't know if that's true.
I could see Jeff Johns doing that, because Jeff Johns seems to like him. I could also see them holding him until more Shazam news starts rolling out. And then
doesn't he have like dibs on the character?
He does,
basically.
Yeah, that, Legion of Superheroes, Watchmen, Alan Scott. I'm sorry, the JSA.
Alan Scott.
Yeah.
Alan Scott, and that's the end of the episode apparently. Yeah. That's how we sign off on the weekly poll.
Because in like the last one, they found the giant lantern of Alan Scott. So it's like, damn, not the giant one, but like the lantern of Alan Scott. So
yes, that's gonna be good. I can't wait for that to see what's gonna happen with that. We'll have to wait 3 more months for that to come out.
Oh my God, Jeff Johns, come on, man, y'all are killing me, man.
Yeah.
It's nuts.
We're going to hold this episode so long that we're going to say that as the issue's coming in.
Right.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
All right, so let's go ahead and go to our topic then, our actual topic of the day. Since Rob is less than enthused about seeing Shazam drinking soda.
I mean, it's one of those things where, to me, it's a photo of Shazam on, it's a picture of Shazam drinking a soda. Yeah. Now, when the movie comes out, I'll be like, let's go see that shit.
Oh, yeah.
But I mean, it's just a picture of him drinking a soda.
Well, the only reason I liked that photo, I will say this. One, it does line up to that old comic that I enjoyed, but that makes me have faith that with the proper touching up and effects, it won't look like he's just an inflatable suit.
Yeah, but touching up a photo is totally different.
Oh, I know, but it gives me faith, hope that we are going to get a good show. It's just like you saw Captain Marvel early shots, and you're like, that looks like garbage. And then you saw the more released ones recently, and it's like, no, those look bad.
I didn't think it was that bad. Like Starfire was one that I had.
The Titan
She
show?
looks rough.
They're claiming they're gonna fix it, and Tim Drake looks great, or was it Dick Grayson? Whoever the Robin is, he looks great.
Dick Grayson.
Beast Boy does not. He also does not look good.
I mean, it's kind of rough. They look like people who failed the auditions for Fifth Element.
They look like bad cosplayers. Like those cosplayers that would come to our booth at a con and be like, what do you think of my Starfire? And be like, you gave it a real good go.
Yeah. A for effort.
A for effort.
Not so much anything beyond that.
Yeah,
but, you know.
yeah, A for
Yeah.
I wouldn't go to the contest.
Yeah.
I really hope no one was planning on showing up with their Starfire, and now they're like really scared.
Oh no, we would.
reaction.
Yeah, no.
No, let me tell you something. Anybody could show up dressed as Starfire and look better than that.
So the MCU.
Yes.
MCU has had quite a history, and I've been very vocal about how much I hate what they do with this because some of my favorite villains are removed. They've had a very long, very, very big issue with the villains.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
One, they're not doing them all properly in the way that you would expect them to be done. And you guys can agree or disagree, but I think Red Skull was the best portrayal of a villain straight out of the comics.
I'd say so.
What do you think, Rob?
Yeah.
Hugo Weaving, I felt
I would
Red
take,
Skull.
I would take Eric Killmonger over Hugo Weaving.
You think? But was he straight out of the comics? Because I felt like
Oh, yeah.
I
No,
felt
yeah,
like,
he
he
was-
did a better job with him. It wasn't out of the comics.
No, I feel like it was a pretty damn close adaptation. The only thing they really lacked in the comics is Eric Killmonger beat Black Panther even when he didn't have any powers. Like Eric Killmonger had no powers and he beat Black Panther with his powers.
Okay.
That's what made him so formidable. And the fact that he's like an MIT graduate and he's like super smart. So I mean, that was a cool thing. But in terms of villains, I like Eric Killmonger better. But yeah, no,
Well,
I think
across the board, I think my list of best villains in the MCU would be Eric Killmonger, Ultron. But I'm saying the best portrayal out of a comic. They've never done a good job with that. Baron Zemo's the best example of not knowing why'd you even take the name? You know?
yeah, but I liked him. I loved him in the movies.
What, Baron Zemo?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
So anyway, they've never done a good job with that, in my opinion. But Eric Killmonger, and doesn't mean the portrayal doesn't mean it was necessarily bad. Just they're not taken out of the comic. Even Ultron did not act like Ultron per se.
No, he was a lot nicer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, dude, Ultron's supposed to be just like mean,
He's
man.
mean, cutthroat.
Yeah. He's like, I'm going
not-
to kill everybody now. I mean,
Yeah.
he destroyed the world.
Multiple times.
Yeah, and tried to conquer the universe. I mean, he's not a guy that's just like making smart aleck remarks.
He's the guy that will blow up a planet just so we can say the Avengers did it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how downright evil
Yeah,
he is.
he's a dick.
And so that's what I was talking about, like the portrayal lifted out of the comic. I felt that Red Skull was the best portrayal straight out of a comic because he acted like Red Skull.
Yeah.
You know, I'm an evil Nazi. I mean, it's not hard to be an evil Nazi, but at least
Yeah, I mean, that's why I say, like, Killmonger in the movie is more like Reginald Hudlin's Killmonger. But yeah, I mean, that's fine. I mean, we can both agree, like, they're the two best portrayals of villains.
I'll agree. I mean, I don't know
So,
that much about Eric Killmonger. Just
Yeah.
what I've seen with him does not match Jordan B. Wild's version, but I'm not going to say
Jordan B. Wild?
Jordan B. Wild.
Michael B. Jordan?
Oh, that's it.
Are you serious? Jordan B. Wild.
I like my
Where
name
the hell
better.
did you get that from?
I like that.
Jordan
name.
B. Wild.
Jordan B. Wild.
Michael B. Jordan B. Wild.
Wow.
He'd be wilding out.
Moving on. Wilding out.
Wilding out.
Wow.
That when I was in the military, that was one of the things my sergeant. But for the record, for those guys joining us for the first time, we never stay on topic. We will finish the topic.
Yeah.
But that's why this is an hour long.
Well, we'll finish it at some point. It might even be the next episode. Yeah. So, I don't know.
When I was back in the military, when we were overseas, my NCO, Sergeant Johnson, he used to say that all the time.
Yeah.
You be wilding out, Potter.
They wilding out, man.
You wilding out.
Wilding out, man. Yeah, I didn't even think people use that phrase anymore. Then I was watching a World Star Hip Hop video. Yeah. And she's like, they wilding out. And I was like, damn, people still say that.
Yeah, people still say it.
Wow.
He would say that all the time, though. Like him and Sergeant Barrett, they would always say, like, if the rest of us were goofing off doing something, you wilding out.
Wilding out. They wilding out.
They're wilding out.
Wiling out.
No, you added too many syllables to
Oh,
it.
I know. You had the G on there.
Rob,
Proper
that
pronunciation.
was so white of you.
Yeah. They're wiling out. My God, darling, do you see that outside? They're wiling out.
Now you just remind me of the
Crazy.
Chappelle show.
Oh, dude, yes.
Put on
Yeah.
white face.
Yeah, that's what I was shooting for. Yeah, when he was a white face guy.
Oh, God.
Yeah. We now return to Steve in the field. Steve.
Yeah, I loved the episode where he was Dave Chappelle and he was like white face Dave Chappelle and they had to family swap. Have you seen that one?
Yeah, we're not going into that one. We're not talking about that episode. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Palestino's great!
And it's an amazing episode. But we're not talking about that episode.
We've gone from talking about Jordan B. Wild to...
Dude, Chappelle's Show is one of the greatest shows ever.
It is
a great
Did you ever
show.
see his comment when Key and Peele? He made a stand-up.
Yeah.
For his first stand-up, he says, I took like 10 years off and I turned on the TV and there's Key and Peele doing my show.
Yeah. I watched Key and Peele do my show, and I'm like, hey, man, you left. I don't know what to tell you, Dave.
So anyway, back to villains of the MCU.
Yeah, back to villains.
Kevin Feige has not been quiet that they kind of regret killing off almost every villain in the MCU.
Yeah, terrible decision.
It was a terrible decision because I never understood why they did that.
Well, because from what I understand, the story's about the hero's journey.
That doesn't mean you have to kill the villain, though.
Oh, I know. I think some of the
What do you
villains
think the
are more
raft
interesting.
exists for?
Yeah, exactly. just shut them off to the raft and just say, and they'll stay here until like the third movie,
Right.
until like Avengers 9 or something like that.
I mean, they can never do a true forever evil, which, for those who don't know, is a DC storyline in which all the villains broke free. So other villains had to become like there's eviler villains. So the villains had to become the good guys to fight the eviler villains, which was the crime syndicate.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah, but they can never do that without
Eviler.
giving us a lame excuse as to why they all came back.
Well, I mean, honestly, I think they'll. God, I don't know. See, for those of you guys who are new to like Marvel Comics, what you're going to see in Infinity War is basically the comic book conundrum.
Yeah.
We wrote ourselves into a hole.
Yeah.
Like that's basically what it is. So I have no idea how in the world they're going to get themselves out. They're going to have to use time travel. The only way they can conceivably do that is to either have everything recreated using the Infinity Stones, which I can see them doing that because at the end of Infinity Gauntlet, it was like, let everything be as it was. And so like they set everything back to rights, and so they could just be like, now all the villains are back. Yeah. The question is, are you going to get Hugo Weaving? Are you going to get, what's his name to come back as Ironmonger? Are you going to get Jeff Bridges? You're going to get get him to come back as Ironmonger. How many villains are they going to get to return? I don't know. But honestly, I feel
Especially
like...
since I doubt they have contracts that exceeded, you may get revived from the dead and have to return.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, they tried forever to get Hugo Weaving to come back, and he's just so rich, he's like, I'll pay the penalty, I don't want to do it again.
No, dude, he hated the makeup process.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like, he literally, from what I understand, because most of them have a big penalty if you don't return.
Yeah.
And I think he was just like, I'll pay it.
Yeah.
I mean, this guy's from Lord of the Rings. He's Agent Smith.
Yeah.
I don't think he's broke.
Mr. Weaving, you do know there's a very large financial penalty for not going. I'm rich, bitch. and then just be done. Yeah, let's call it a day.
I mean, what do you think about the villains being killed off, Dan? We've been talking over you and keeping you just quiet.
I've been letting
us.
you guys do your thing.
Yeah.
I know.
You know what?
I've
I love,
been
I will
here
say this,
enough.
Rob. I love that he's gotten so comfortable being on this show now that he'll let us talk and he knows when to interrupt and jump in.
Yeah, I'm glad you figured it
does he
out.
sit there awkwardly going, are they going to give me space?
Yeah.
Right.
No, man, you got to jump in, dude.
I've started to know when we're about to like change topics, and I'm like, get in there now. While we're still here, say your voice.
Yeah.
Say your voice.
Are you The Voice? Isn't that like a UK show?
It's a
I think it's a
show.
U.S. show with like
US
leftovers from American Idol.
Pretty
I don't know.
much.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think it's gonna be like the Time Stone. I think they're gonna do the Time Stone, and then it's simply gonna be they're not gonna mention any of the villains coming back. But if they do come back, they're gonna go, oh well, I got snapped back into existence.
I got a better way of that. What if at the very end of the whole thing, when we're given the option to like reverse things, maybe we'll say it's Captain America for some reason. They're like, the spirit within the stone. Who's in the Soul Stone? Gamora?
Gamora, yeah.
Okay. She's like, hey, this can bring everyone back, but if you do it, it'll bring everyone back, Cap. All the villains, everyone that's died, all of them are going to come back. Including every person who was a casualty in the Sokovia incident, so it's no longer a penalty.
Yeah.
Yeah. That means Quicksilver, like Quick-Slow would become back, or Slow Silver. He'd be back.
Tangent,
So-
I was watching deleted scenes. Did you know he wasn't supposed to die?
Wait,
Really?
what?
Yes.
Why'd they kill him?
Joss Whedon filmed him coming back. Like the bullets hit him, but like he was able to get them all and heal. And he's in the final scene. That's the cutout stuff. But he decided to kill him instead because he wanted there to be a casualty of war.
Wow.
Quicksilver was supposed to remain in. I was watching a video on, I want to say it was What Culture or something like that, and they were talking about deleted scenes that could have changed the MCU forever. And I'm like, that's a big one.
Yeah, because then we had to listen to the Scarlet Witch moping around. Oh, don't talk about Pietro.
He was supposed to live. He died because they wanted to have a casualty of war.
Wow. That's kind of
Why did
stupid.
they kill Hawkeye?
Yeah, yeah. Not Clint Barton. Hell, Jeremy Renner, man. I love you to death, dude, but I mean, come on.
You're the Arrow guy in the Avengers.
You're the Arrow guy, yeah.
I love Hawkeye when you're off on your own. It's the same conundrum I have with a lot of superheroes where it's like, why does Punisher exist in the Marvel Universe? He's great when he's in his own thing. You know, Superman in the DC Universe makes no sense as to why Gotham is going to hell. Like,
Yeah.
you know, like it's the usual comic book conundrum of you can't have a Superman and a Batman, and Gotham is burning to the ground, and Superman's like,
Yeah.
he's got it. He'll be back.
Yeah. I mean, I'd go help him, but I've got like anything else to do. So I'm gonna go
That's
do
the problem
whatever.
with Hawkeye. Like, Hawkeye's great if he's like a top secret spy, but you throw him on the Avengers, it's like Hawkeye and the Hulk. Yeah, that doesn't make any sense.
I don't know. He does have those trick arrows though, which are kind of cool.
But he doesn't have a boxing glove arrow.
Dude, I want to see that. That's what I'm saying. Like, I want to see him fight and see like a giant boxing glove hit Thanos in the face. And it's like what in the hell? And he's like, it was worth a try, man.
It was worth the try.
I just get
And
dusted
it's
by
got a
Thanos.
green rock on the end of it. I heard it might work.
It's weird. I don't remember what it's called, but it's like glowing green rocks. People are weak to it. I don't know.
But anyway,
I could see it being an after credit scene though.
what?
Them bringing the villains back.
Yeah.
I could see them finishing it up, and in the after credit scene, either one of the villains is back, or it shows that one of the villains is missing from where they were buried or where they were resting, and someone's going to basically be like, how did they come back? And then it's going to be the unanswered question of who else came back. Because they could bring Quicksilver back. If they brought the villains back to life, they could very easily bring Quicksilver back as
I feel
well.
like his death was worthless too. It didn't really mean anything. His death. Like it.
But see, that's the thing. And see, we're assuming that it could be something like time travel. Okay, so in Marvel Comics, the realm of death is relative. There was an old story that Chris Claremont wrote back in the day. I can't remember what it was. It was an Uncanny X-Men. And Jean Grey becomes the White Phoenix of the Crown, basically meaning she's like this omnipotent multiversal force. And she goes to the afterlife and meets Mistress Death, who shows up in the form of a guy. And so it's weird because in the realm of death, they have all these giant pillars. And so Death says like each one of these pillars belong to a person.
Right.
And that's their afterlife. And so you can easily say, okay, in Soul World, it's like it's a situation where everybody perceives it differently. Like they'll never interact because they're all in the Soul Stone, but they all see something different.
They're all in their own soul stone.
They're all in their own soul world, afterlife, or what have you. But it could just be that like they destroy Soul World. That like the Infinity Stones get destroyed, Soul World's obliterated, and all the soul, that's where everybody who's ever died or who died as a result of that's weird though because you can't bring that back because then it's like everybody who ever died. So Earth has a population of like 100 bajillion people now. And so it's like, okay, like, you know, it's kind of wild. There's ways to make it work, and there's ways to roll it in. And it is a comic book movie, so honestly, they can do almost anything. But
I do love that. People are always like, there's got to be rules in comic books. There isn't. There never has been.
Yeah, it's just whatever you want to do. That's why we read them.
Yeah.
You know, if I wanted to read like stories with absolute rules, I would read like nonfiction books.
Yeah.
So that's what I would do.
I want to see someone become omnipotent and go crazy and do.
Yeah.
I want to see Thanos be able to go.
Yep, done.
Dylan, I want you to put in special effects right now of the two of them misting off.
Just dusting.
I don't feel so good, Comicstorian.
I'm just chilling here. I'm just like, all right, well, it's been real, y'all. I'm just like, peace, and just...
Make it happen, Dylan. I don't care what we got to get. We're going to pay you extra for this.
Yeah,
I want Thanos After Effects on this video.
I mean, you can do it. You can just use you can use After Effects, and you can use it's particle something. Damn, what are they called? But you can make people disintegrate. No, it's Trap Code Particular. That's what it is. Trap Code Particular. Use that plugin to make it work. Yeah.
All right.
Did you hear that, Dylan?
I mean, I don't know if he can do it isolating us. He'd probably have to mask or something like that.
So anyway, back to villains though.
Yeah, back to villains.
Where were we in the villains topic? Even I lost track this time. This is one of our Uber
We were
tangents.
talking
Just
about
all the
bringing
villains
them
who died.
back, but I agree. Like a lot of them definitely should not have died. Killmonger should not have died.
No.
However,
That was a huge waste.
I do think they could cop out on that they didn't technically show him dying. They showed him
He got
pulling it out
stabbed in the chest,
but
man.
they showed him pulling that out. We're talking about they're in Wakanda, a place where a guy got shot and then was brought back the next day, even though he got shot and was perfectly fine.
He was paralyzed too.
Yeah, they could
Yeah,
very
sure.
easily make it some sort of excuse of, well, his sister shows up at the last minute. They saw him and they were like, well, he ended in this kind of way. We'll bring him back into some sort of stasis because we don't want him to be a villain.
Yeah, keep him frozen on ice.
And they could easily do something like that, or even bring him back to go, okay, now we've got an anti-hero. He's not super villain anymore. He's not hero, but he does his own thing. But they didn't show him dead. They showed him falling. And let's be honest, whenever they don't show them truly dying, that's comics going, hey, we're going to bring them back eventually, but you think they're dead now.
See, but it kind of depends though. Like nobody would care if Jeff Bridges came back or not, because Ironmonger was okay, but he was not memorable.
Could you imagine Whiplash?
See, I would want to see Whiplash come back
and get done properly.
Yeah, and like I said, there's a zillion things that they could. I mean, they could change things up, because I imagine if if Scott Lang ends up in the past and ends up jumping through the future, then that starts creating like different effects. Like, what if it turns out like it did in the comics, where Black Widow was originally a villain, and then she roped Hawkeye in. And Hawkeye was originally a bad guy, and then Hawkeye realized what was going on and became a good guy. You know, just things like that. Like there's all kinds of situations you can have it play out in any number of different ways. I mean, I would honestly consider doing that. If I were the MCU, I would just say, okay, like this is going to be a reboot, and everything's going to get done over again, but it's going to be more in tune with like the main Marvel universe or the Ultimate Universe, or something like that.
So you're saying it'd almost be like a soft reboot of the MCU?
Yeah, it would be a hard reboot basically, because you'd be starting all over again.
I don't think they would do that though.
No, I don't think they would either.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. I mean, they could. So
I mean, Ultron would be easy to bring back. We could bring him back easy. He's a robot. All you got to do is say he beamed himself up to the moon.
Yeah, he's just
or Tony Stark's an idiot still.
Builds him again.
He rebuilds him.
I can do it better this time. I can correct my mistakes.
Trust me, I put in a firewall so the Ultron can't take over again.
It's two of them this time.
Yeah.
There are two firewalls.
It's Norton and Windows Defender. We got it. We got this, guys. We're
Could
good.
you imagine that? Norton and Windows Defender.
A little bit of
Don't worry, guys. I also put in McAfee.
Yeah.
So
McAfee.
we're good this time.
Yeah. If all else goes bad, McAfee's free, so you know it's okay. Doesn't cost us
McAfee's
anything.
free.
Yeah.
So we got this covered, guys.
We got this covered, guys. AVG, the whole 9 yards. But yeah, no.
I put on 4 levels of protection.
I mean, honestly, bringing the old villains back isn't necessarily the worst thing. The fact that they're learning, or they're realizing that killing off the villains is a bad idea is good, because it means that going forward with like X-Men, Fantastic Four, then it means like we won't see villains just die like that. Because like if they killed off Sinister, that sucks, because there's so, I mean, you could do Mutant Massacre, you could do like Fall of Mutants, you could do like all these different storylines just with Sinister alone. The Adventures of Cyclops and Phoenix, or the Adventures of Cyclops and Phoenix. You can do.
So you're saying use this as a way to bring in the mutants then?
No, I'm saying like it's a way to go forward and not have to worry about them killing off villains that could otherwise be used multiple times.
Yeah.
Like in a multitude of different ways. And even then it gives them the ability to shift things up. Like what happens if Eric Killmonger says, you know what, like Black Panther, you know, he's allies with the Avengers, so I'll take the Avengers out first. Or you can even take it a step further and say like Red Skull's alive, so we basically get Old Man Logan. I mean, like legitimately Old Man Logan. Not Logan, which is Unforgiven meets Wolverine. I mean like legitimate Old Man Logan story. I mean, there's a lot of things that you can do there by just keeping the villains alive. So it would be kind of a cool thing to see, like if they go forward, because I mean, on the X-Men alone, I mean, Hellfire, on the X-Men alone, I mean, all like villains you could yank out. I mean, you got Holocaust, you've got Onslaught, you've got Magneto, you know, depending on the circumstance. You've got X-Man, depending on the circumstance. You've got X-Man's girlfriend Threnody. You've got the Hellfire Club. You've got the entire, like, let's see, you've got, I mean, just within the Hellfire Club, you have Emma Frost, you have the Hellions, you have, I mean, you've got just like villains and villains and villains and villains. Yeah. You got a mountain of those things.
So you're saying if we got the X-Men, we could kind of ignore the villains who have died and just use all the X-Men villains across the board now.
Yeah, I mean, they can kind of bring a couple back. Like, honestly, if they said, like, Rob, what villains would you bring back if you had a choice? Like, Red Skull, Eric Killmonger, and that's about it.
Yeah.
I don't remember Ultron. Ultron's such a
big Ultron,
bad.
yeah. I bring Ultron
He's
back.
such a big... So now, here's a question I have. Part of the reason I assumed they killed him off is that we assumed they wouldn't come back. You like to, a lot of the arguments that you like to have in the comic book world, whenever they bring back the classic, I mean, I'm quoting you here, but yay, more Captain America stories where he's fighting freedom.
That's exactly what it is.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So, but you also say that we could reuse a lot of the same villains. What would stop the story from just being another Ultron tale?
Because you shift it around. Like, I mean, like to me, the whole idea is when you had Age of Ultron, you had Avengers 2 Age of Ultron, that establishes who his character is. Okay, cool. Now give us Annihilation. Or I'm sorry, Annihilation Conquest. Like Ultron's AI consciousness has just been floating out there somewhere and it gets picked up by some robotic species, the Phalanx, and then like he literally integrates them into his systems. Or like Ultron was floating out in space and like he integrated with like the Xandarian systems. And it's like taking it over. Like, I mean, you could,
that would be good. And then you could do that reason to bring in Nova.
Exactly.
And now Ultron versus the Nova Corps. Or
the Nova Corps, exactly. And you literally, I mean, there's a lot of things you can do. Just because a villain is a villain to a particular character or team in the comics doesn't mean they have to be that way in the movie.
It actually makes for some funny jokes. Like I was just reading the Nick Spencer Spider-Man.
I haven't read it yet. Is it good?
It is really good, but it goes back to the old status quo. So if your argument is you don't want to see the old stories coming back,
Yeah.
It's not much of a spoiler because what it is just establishing the status quo. Like Peter Parker loses the job immediately. He's stuck in an apartment. It's setting up Parker luck and all that other stuff.
Yeah.
But one thing that happens is he's teaming up with the Avengers and they're all hating against him again, which I found a bit weird because when we last left off, that wasn't the situation. But he stops the big baddie and it turns out to be one of his. And so and he's making the joke like, great, this is really embarrassing. One of my big baddies is the thing we're fighting, and he's off doing his own thing.
Yeah.
You know? Could you picture, like, let's take Green Goblin, which is not the villain in the comic. I'm trying to do
I mean, he's a pretty legit villain.
Right,
I assume it's like Mysterio or somebody like that.
Well, I wasn't going to do much of a spoiler, but yes, it's Mysterio that he fights in the comic.
Because Mysterio will be the most, of all the Spider-Man villains, he would stand the best chance of being able to take on some pretty big powerhouses.
Right, so he does that, and his argument is, I figured it out for once. I was going to take on everyone instead of trying to do all of you guys at one at a time.
Yeah.
Wow. But could you imagine like an Iron Man movie where he fights Mysterio, and he gets to the tail end, and Iron Man, and like Spidey swings in, he's like, took care of this for you.
Yeah.
And this Tom Holland's like, this is so embarrassing. Like, really, Mysterio? Really?
Well, that's the thing. Like, if you read The Search for Tony Stark, the Stark Board of Directors hires Hijack, who's a mutant that can hijack technology. So it's like, well, that makes sense. That's kind of cool. Like, just grab those weird things and roll them in. See, that's the beauty of the movies. The comics are kind of stuck in their ways because of older fans who just won't shut the hell up. So, like, comics are kind of stuck in their ways. But the movies, it's a whole new landscape. Like, it's a whole new ballgame. And so if you turn around and you say, okay, so like historically speaking, Wolverine has been a member of the X-Men and always was. Okay, cool. Introduce him in the X-Men, then just like throw him on the Avengers team and just leave him there.
Yeah.
Or like bring Luke Cage in from Netflix and just launch the Mighty Avengers.
Oh, I feel like they're wasting so much potential. You know what? The Defender's fine. The Defenders have always kind of been self-separated, so that can work to an extent. But like Kingpin. Imagine if they brought Kingpin into the MCU and he became Mayor of New York, which is what he's doing right now.
Yeah, Mayor Fisk. Yeah,
or you bring in Green Goblin. I mean, you could do the same thing with Green Goblin, but it's so much more effective with Wilson Fisk because he comes across as a legitimate businessman. Every time Norman does it, we have to like forget everything he's done in the past.
I mean, that's one of the things. A lot of people are saying that like the Daredevil show is moving in the direction of Shadowland, where he's possessed by like the Beast of the Hand.
Yeah,
and like takes over the hand. I mean, like that's like to me that's a cool story, but that's like a movie.
Oh yeah.
Like the Hand versus like the Avengers.
Yeah.
And like all that crazy stuff.
So many wasted potential. Like why don't we use and now? So this comes into another question then. So we've killed off. So we killed Red Skull. I mean, even though he wasn't dead, we now know officially he's not coming back.
Yeah.
Ultron's out of the picture. Ironmonger's out of the picture. Killmonger's out of the picture. A lot of mongers.
Yeah, a lot of mongers. Whiplash is out.
Whiplash is out.
Yep.
Baron Zemo's not dead, right?
Justin Hammer's still in jail.
So is Baron Zemo.
Baron Zemo escaped. He's floating around.
Okay.
Yeah, they never caught him. I don't think they ever did.
Or he committed suicide. I can't remember. For some reason, I feel like he committed suicide.
No, he didn't do that. I think he's just free floating out there.
What's the guy that's in the head is in there and like he talks? Zola?
Oh, Arnim Zola?
Arnim Zola. Okay.
Yeah, he's gone.
Yeah, well, isn't he AI at this point?
No, well, the AI system was destroyed in Winter Soldier when they blew up the bunker.
Yeah, well, yeah. I agree, but at the same time,
they'll bring it back
AI-based like Ultron, we could easily be like, they were uploaded to the Hydra Moon.
Yeah,
or the number of times they have it in like storage and then all of a sudden something clicks it on and you're like, how? I thought it was done.
Yeah, you could definitely do that.
Who else have they killed, like removed?
I mean, I can't really think of anybody else off the top of my head. I mean, aside from guys like Alexander Pierce, who was like the head of Hydra.
Not really gone. They're never gone.
Yeah, they're always kind of around there. I mean, aside from like members of Hydra, stuff like that. Peggy Carter, I mean, but like the most notable villains are basically gone. But again, out of all those guys, I would bring back Red Skull, I would bring back Eric Killmonger, and that would be it.
Yeah. Well, what I was getting at is, so those are the ones we have there, and then we have the ones that are locked up because of the Defenders.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So we can't touch Kingpin. We can't touch the Hand. We can't, which gets rid of all the ninjas and all them.
Yeah, that whole mystical thing, which kind of disappointing because you could do like Enemy of the State. Like, okay, those of you guys who never read that,
is Dormammu technically dead?
No, he's alive. He's just out in his own dimension.
He's in
the dark dimension.
You know what's going on? Doctor Strange still coming in. I have come to bargain.
Yeah, he's just gonna do that for eternity. No, I mean, like you could do Enemy of, like that's the cool thing. If they brought in Wolverine, you could do Enemy of the State, where like he's taken by Hydra and the Hand, he's brainwashed. And like the Hand resurrect him anytime he dies. Hydra teleports him out, if ever there's a point where the Hand can't, like where he gets captured or something like that. But literally, like he's just like this unstoppable, crazy killing machine that almost kills the entire Marvel universe. So like you can do like if you brought all those things in together, it would work. Like Wilson Fisk pulling the strings, and like making life hell for the Avengers, that would be amazing. You could do some beastly stories there, but I don't know. It's weird to me. I mean, Punisher alone would be cool.
Yeah.
Wrapping in the Netflix people and just making the whole thing.
Yeah, bring Punisher in. I mean, that's what I would do.
I'm still upset that they can't get their house in order. You know, like, come on.
Yeah.
Why do you have to separate the TV and the movies?
They're slowly getting there now that they've got X-Men back and Fantastic Four.
It's just gonna make
I
it more
still
convoluted.
think that what you were saying with like the X-Men villains being there, because if Scott Lang's daughter does come back from the future, it's a perfect way to put either X-Men or Fantastic Four in because they're very well known for time travel, especially the X-Men.
Just bring him from the future?
Just bring, like, she had to go find someone to help her do time travel. She goes to the X-Men, goes to Hank. They come back, but she needs like supervision kind of thing.
That'd be
While
cool.
they do that, some of the villains come along as well. Now you've got a huge amount of villains to work with. You've got some great new heroes to work with that you can kind of intermingle.
Because there's like 15 years in the future, then she's like, yeah, they're all like they're established by then.
Exactly, and
So,
then you can also bring back and do something like Avengers versus X-Men, which would get a lot of people in because it would be like Civil War, where it's not villains.
Yeah.
That I won't think will be done for a while though. Avengers versus X-Men.
Yeah.
Because I mean that would.
I know you guys in chat saying they don't technically have the deal with Fox done yet. Yeah, we know. We don't care at this point. It's pretty much going to happen. We can talk about X-Men. And for the record, the entire episode is theory crafting.
Yeah.
Even if they don't get the X-Men in the end, we can still say that's a great way to get villains.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying it now because Twitch is over there going, they don't have the Fox yet. Like, we know, and we all like it's like 1% off at this point. You just need those final people to agree on it.
Yeah, it's a done deal, guys.
It's pretty much like I will eat Rob's shoe if it falls through at this point.
Well,
I hope it falls through.
I'm gonna go hiking in the nastiest ass shoes I can find.
No. I'll eat Rob will buy new shoes.
No. You did not provide conditions. You said I will eat Rob's shoe. Yeah, it's gonna be all nice and vinegary for you, man. All oily
You're
and
a
everything.
Butthead, I hate you.
Yeah. No. Okay.
But I was saying that because of the YouTube side, because you know they'll be making the comments of, guys, it's not official.
Yeah. They'll be fine.
And so I'm pretty sure that's what they look like when they type it too.
Oh yeah, no, definitely.
They're typing it freaking. I mean, because I think about this cohesive universe with like the X-Men, the Avengers, the Fantastic Four, and just from a villain perspective. I mean, I think about X-Sanction when Cable crushes the X-Men and the Avengers. I think about like Inferno when Jean Grey's clone literally unleashes hell on the city of New York. I mean, I think of like Apocalypse. Man, let me like
he was so
externals.
wasted.
He was wasted. Like, I mean, in Marvel Comics, you're talking about a guy who can grow to any size. So he can be like 2,000 feet tall, and he's basically indestructible. And he just crushes, like just starts wrecking through everybody. I mean, that's the cool thing is there's so many villains there that they can kind of break the mold and say just because Nathaniel Essex, Mr. Sinister, was always an X-Men villain doesn't mean he has to be here. Like he'll largely be an X-Men villain, or like Exodus, who's really really obscure, but like Exodus. Who would dominate all of them quite readily, like Strife, Cable's clone. I mean, there's all these different villains you could bring in just from the X-Men universe and make them legit villains against the X-Men and the Avengers. So like, there's a ton of stuff that you could do there. I mean, yeah, like that's why I say the idea of learning from the notion of like we shouldn't kill villains is genius, because if they actually implement that going forward, there's so many. I mean, you could tell stories for the next 200 years just using.
Villains, in my opinion, have always been a problem for Marvel in general. Not even in the movies, but in the comics. One thing that I think that DC has always done better than Marvel, is they've always made a villain staple and they've made them stick around. And I feel like the problem that Marvel's having with their villains in the comics is bleeding over to the MCU, because then the MCU kills them. I mean, I've not been quiet about the fact I feel that Marvel turns every villain people like, they turn them into an anti-hero. To some extent, they get turned into an anti-hero.
Well, anti-heroes are popular.
But that's what I mean. But they turn them all. I mean, I think like, do you ever think that DC would turn Joker into an anti-villain? No.
He was kind of an anti-hero in Dark Knight's Metal.
Or White Knight.
He showed up in the very tail end, but in White Knight's an alternate universe that allowed that to happen. But what I'm saying is like DC's always had, these are our villains. The only one I can think of off the top of my head that DC is a very, very popular villain that they've done that kind of back and forth of Lex Luthor.
Clayface.
But that was recent.
That was recent, yeah.
Yeah. And
Lex Luthor is a good example then.
Yeah, but Lex Luthor but Marvel, over the history of Marvel Comics, has always had a tendency to go, you guys really like this villain? Now he's kind of a good guy.
Well, it kind of depends though. Like, Magneto is like that. Magneto was like that under Claremont, where he became the leader of New Mutants and the X-Men.
Loki goes back and forth.
Loki, yeah, Loki. Well, but that's only been recently though, with like Agent of Asgard and stuff like that.
But he's always never been a true villain out to just kill Thor since like the Golden Age. You know,
No, he's been pretty consistent trying to ruin Thor's life and trying to get him
but it's
killed.
more pranky. It's not like entirely like when he
No,
turned
no,
Thor into
he
a
wants-
woman or a frog.
No,
that
he-
wasn't to kill Thor.
He did the whole story of Acts of Vengeance, where that was basically Old Man Logan before Old Man Logan, where he took like all the Earth's villains and was like, we're gonna shift you guys up and we're gonna face off against the superheroes. They lost. But
Well,
like, I mean, that was Acts
he's
of
consistently
Vengeance,
going back to being evil. I say that, but I'm just saying like he's been more of like the really dickhead brother than the I'm just going to conquer the planet.
Yeah, I mean, he's been like the dickhead brother who like wants to kill his brother.
Yeah, well,
yeah. But no, I mean, yeah.
Doctor
there's-
Doom became infamous Iron Man, and even before then, he's always been kind of like he's kind of like Sinestro, where he's like, I'm a good guy in my mind because I'm doing it right.
I mean, I would say there was never really a point where he was legitimately 100% a bad guy though.
Yeah, like
He was-
straight up,
yeah.
like I'm going to. Even in Secret Wars, where he could have just totally, I conquered the world, but I'm doing it for the good of the world.
Yeah.
I did it to save us from the Beyonders.
Yeah, even in the old stories, he was kind of like, I'll kill you if you get in my way, but like, don't come to Latveria and we'll be fine.
Exactly.
Like,
Yeah.
here's a story where Luke Cage flew. Do you ever read that story?
No.
Luke Cage, what was it? Dr. Doom had Luke Cage do something. It was back when he was Hero for Hire. And he stiffed him on the bill. So Luke Cage flew to Latveria and kicked his ass. And because he has bulletproof skin.
Yeah.
So he can't be damaged. So like he beat the hell out of Dr. Doom and made him pay up $200. Yeah, it was hilarious, yeah.
For $200.
For $200, yeah. It was hilarious.
But that's the problem I think that they've had the MCU is having that the Marvel Comics that they've never really been good with their villains. Like they've always been either anti-heroes or whatever. Some of the best villains, Galactus turns into a good guy, the Lifebringer.
I love him as a Lifebringer. I'm so disappointed he's back to being...
But that's what I mean. Like he turned into a good guy.
Yeah.
Dr. Doom turned into a good guy. Magneto turns into a good guy. Loki turned into a
Magneto
good
felt like
guy.
he turned
Loki
into a
ran
side
for president.
character. He did, and that was cool.
I love
loved, yeah, I love
but that
Loki
doesn't
for
mean
president.
like there's no stable
Yeah.
villain. Even Red Skull, didn't he have a temporary period where he became like, I'm doing this for the good of everyone kind of a thing?
Yeah, but that was him just being a dick. I mean, like he was for the most part at the beginning of All New, All Different Marvel. He was classic Red Skull.
Yeah.
Just like I'm gonna be an asshole, and then he gets killed by Captain America.
Yeah,
So,
no, that was
it doesn't matter. But yeah, no, I mean I understand what you're saying. That is a true statement.
Yeah.
I mean I don't know if it's consistent like all the time, but
could you make a Legion of Doom in Marvel? You couldn't. Because if you look at the Legion of Doom, everyone on that never, other than Lex Luthor, has never really become a good guy per se. They're all true
oh no,
villains.
yeah, you could definitely do that. It would mostly be X-Men villains, but you could definitely do that. Like you could take Sebastian Shaw, Apocalypse, Nathaniel Essex.
No, because even Apocalypse, they just made a good guy version.
That's not Apocalypse. It's a kid.
Who's going to become Apocalypse?
That's not Apocalypse.
It's Apocalypse. It's Kid Apocalypse.
It's not
Evan's
Apocalypse.
name is Kid Apocalypse.
It's a reborn version. It's not actually Apocalypse. Now, if Apocalypse had like turncoated and be like he was like I'm Apocalypse.
Don't they go
as
back
you
in
always
past
know
and he
me."
does that?
What?
The original Apocalypse?
No, he's always been a bad guy.
I'm pretty sure they went back in the past at some point in recent, like, couple of years.
He got friend zoned by a chick, and then his powers went amok. Yeah, Apocalypse was the first guy to be friend zoned and try to conquer the world in the process. But but still, no. I mean, like there's been consistent bad. Now, if you're talking about like a person like Exodus was a bad guy and then became a good guy, Sabretooth is a good guy now. I mean, there are a lot of villains
the
who become
only
good
guy I
guys.
think that, like, his turn to a good guy was based around Axis, and I think he's the only one left. Like, they kind of like retconned it to be like, I'm trying to follow up with Wolverine.
Yeah, it was him and
But
like Carnage.
he was a good guy before Wolverine died because of Axis.
Yeah. It was him
mentioned
and
it, too.
Carnage were like the last two to switch.
Yeah.
And then he never went back.
And Carnage is just dead right now.
Yeah, which is kind of disappointing. But yeah, no, okay. So like I said, it would mostly be X-Men villains. Or it would just be like the Masters of Evil, but nobody gives a crap about them. So I mean, we could just for the hell of it. So you could say Ulysses Claw, Apocalypse, Nathaniel Essex, William Stryker, who I would have lead it. Damn, who else? And like one more person. Because see, Dr. Octopus became a good guy. Norman Osborn was somewhat reformed.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, all the true villains, even Kraven has
Vulture
shown
to a
up
degree.
with the better of the. I mean, look at Kraven's Last Hunt. He's not a bad guy. He's got a goal that he wants to go and he
Okay,
did it
then
and
I
then
would-
shot himself in the head.
I would take the Mandarin. Like the Mandarin in Red Skull. Because the Mandarin's got the 10 rings.
Yeah.
And then the Red Skull is the last guy. So that'd be my Legion of Doom. Apocalypse, Nathaniel Essex, that covers your science heavy hitters. and then whoever in the hell else I said. So I forgot.
I don't know. It's
still.
just Marvel's always had a problem with their villains, and it just translated to the MCU, in my opinion. And the MCU is just like, we got a good one, kill him. Like,
Yeah.
Luckily, Spider-Man didn't do that.
Vulture
went actually to.
And he's a lot more interesting in the movies than he is in the comics.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the comics is just like this creepy old man who's just like everybody was just dying for him to die.
Oh yeah. Vulture's not good in the comics. In the movie, he was incredible. I loved him.
Yeah.
Michael Keaton, man, why did you leave comic book stuff?
Yeah. Well, supposedly he's going to be coming back.
Vulture is?
Yeah.
When? The next movie?
Yeah, like his contract's not over. Like he's staying.
Oh, good.
I don't know if it'll be the next movie, but from what I gather, Michael he's not done. He didn't quit.
Good.
Watch him come back as an anti-hero.
Yeah. I see the
Vulture's
light
a good
now.
guy now.
In the aftermath of Infinity War, I need to use my powers to kind of be a little shady, but do the right thing. Yeah,
Be a little shit.
that's what I want to do.
Their excuse will be, I want to do good for my daughter.
Huh.
That would be their excuse to make him an anti-hero.
See, he wasn't really even a true villain in the first place in the movie.
No.
Yeah.
That's why I think
kind of the funny
he could
thing.
like very easily just kind of transition
The
over
Shocker
there.
died, didn't he?
Yeah.
Kind of. And they're like, you're the new Shocker.
Yeah,
See, that's the thing
that's
with
true.
what they did with Spider-Man is the only people that they killed were villains that were villains because of equipment. So they could just give it to someone else.
Yeah, it makes sense.
For the record, guys, I apologize now. This is probably one of the more off the rails with our topic. But
Oh, no, it's
I
all
think
good.
we stay on Marvel villains at least for the most part.
It's
Yeah.
somewhat topic.
Yeah, it's close
related.
enough.
We're on Marvel villains. It's just kind of all over the place about them.
Yeah. Okay, so let me ask you this question. Assuming they brought all the villains back,
Yeah.
all the villains who died, assuming they brought them all back, what would you do with them? Would you have things just continue on the same? Or would you go back and just like rework them, like shift them up?
Oh,
make
I
them the
would
villain
make
somebody else?
I would make a villain movie, a centric movie.
Really?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I would.
Oh, yeah.
Like
I could see
imagine a movie of the Legion of Doom version in the Marvel universe. Okay, so let's just say the Sinister Six, because at least it's a recognizable villain name.
Yeah.
Sinister Six comes together, but the movie's point of view is from like Doc Ock, leader of the Sinister Six, trying to make it and then fight the Avengers.
Be kind of cool.
Like a point of view from the villain point of view, not a hero point of view, but because they're always like the story's about the heroes.
Yeah.
What if the story was about the villain?
What if
I could see that.
they did an Axis event so it was about the heroes, but the heroes are the villains?
In a movie-centric thing that's over in an hour and a half, that could work.
Like, I would watch that. Like, to actually go in and see the heroes that you fell in love with completely swapped over,
Becoming
and
bad
now they're
guys?
villains.
Yeah.
And then you have someone like Doc Ock or someone who does go anti-hero midway through.
Yeah.
We got to fix this. This isn't right. You know?
I mean, the problem that you have with that is you would have to explain. I mean, you would, over the course of a villain, have to have some instigating situation equivalent to Red Skull stealing the brain of Charles Xavier, which means you have to explain why Charles Xavier is dead in the first place, or whoever it is, whatever causes that situation to unfold. You have to explain that. You have to explain why it is
that could be
things
super
split.
simple though.
Like what?
We've established space and everything like that. You could easily just have something hit the satellite dish, or the opening. We'll just have a villain, a generic villain. We'll just use the Shocker because he's the generic whatever. Shocker breaks into into some lab. I was gonna say Star Labs, but that's not.
Star Labs.
We'll go with Stark Industries. He breaks into Stark Industries. Stark created some kind of an event that had the possibility of flipping your personality. Shocker hits it with his blast. It blasts outward, flips all of New York.
Yeah, there you go.
Boom. You don't even have to explain it. It just happened.
Tony
Or better
creates
than that.
something to redeem people.
Yeah.
Like villains, he like tries to create
Yeah.
something to swap them to heroes, and something malfunctions, and it just goes widespread.
And then you have
I mean-
Tony Stark, Captain America, Thor, all bad guys in the movie, and we're following the central focal point of what villain has been Ghost. We follow Ghost. Ghost, who's now been redeemed and alive, gathers up other villains who are now flipped.
I would do Ghost or Punisher.
Ghost with what's his name? Bill Foster.
Yeah. But better than that, I mean, you could just say like Doctor Strange spills a cup of coffee on a spell book, and it
That would
inverses,
be awesome.
it inverses the whole world. He's like, oh shh.
Doctor Strange becomes dyslexic,
Oh,
starts reading
yeah.
a spell, and you're like, oh crap! I swapped the words.
Steven, what are you doing? You see Wong come running in. No! And like, you made everybody evil. And he's just talking in tongues. Yeah, no, I mean, that'd be kind of funny.
You made everyone evil!
Yeah.
Well, there's no fixing it now, because I'm evil.
Let's go do evil things. Yeah. No, I mean, that'd be kind of cool. But see, to me, a movie like that kind of has to be like a stand. Okay, let me ask you this: do you think they'll ever make like what if versions of movies? They'll ever branch out and just do like one-off movies where it's like this thing happens in this universe somewhere?
Yes, because of the success of Logan.
Yeah.
Logan is very much, while in continuity, could very easily be ignored and do more Wolverine movies. It's basically Old Man Logan, whereas you can put it in a timeline, but it doesn't matter. It's standalone.
See, we know the Watchers are there, and you could literally just be like, or see if Stan Lee was younger, if he wasn't close to the end times, then I would say like have Stan Lee be the one to do it. It's just like, you guys know me as Stan Lee, and I love looking at all these different universes and all that kind of stuff. And he's like, let me show you one over here. I don't know, but it's like, show me this one over here, and like he shows you this universe where like Captain America was never frozen in ice.
Yeah,
and like became.
But that's what I mean with the success of Logan, of the idea of like heroes can die and how gritty this could be.
Yeah,
that could easily be an excuse to do those.
Because there's some amazing what if stories. Like there's one where Doctor Strange becomes a disciple of Dormammu and kills everybody.
Yeah,
like wipes out the universe. There's one where Jean never loses the Phoenix Force. She never stops being the Dark Phoenix and destroys the universe. There's the one where the Incredible Hulk kills all the superheroes on Earth. God, the what if stories are dark. The Punisher's family never dies. Well, the Punisher, it's called What If the Punisher's Family Never Dies? And he stays a straight cop and then like ends up busting police corruption, so the cops kill his family. And then he becomes the Punisher. So
I gotta read that one.
Oh, dude, it's amazing. Yeah, dude, it's a really good story. I mean, you could like Punisher kills the Marvel Universe. I mean, there's all kinds of. I mean, God, the what if stories are dark.
I'd love to see a what if of World War Hulk.
World War Hulk. Yeah. I would love the what if of it. They just did Marvel Zombies. Could you imagine the good one? The good one.
And
there you go. Bring back the villains as Marvel Zombies.
Yeah, just call it like the what if movies.
Yeah,
and that's it. Like it's a whole other sort of. And people will easily be able to understand. It's not the main Marvel movies. It's just this wholly separate thing. That would be a cool idea. I mean, God, you can make those forever. Jesus. The more I think about the potential they have for making movies in the MCU, the more I think they can make these movies for 500 years.
Oh, they can easily.
Yeah.
Because all you gotta do is wait for the current trend of like giantly linked movies together.
Yeah.
You gotta wait for that trend to kind of like start petering off.
Yeah.
And then you just go, okay, now we're gonna do the DC approach and they're not directly linked, so here's a bunch of what if stories.
Just one-shot movies.
Yeah.
God, that would be crazy. What if Captain America was the Red Skull? God, that'd be cool.
Just puts on a mask.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, think about that, because like we've read a lot of those stories, so we're kind of desensitized to how crazy some of those stories can be.
Yeah.
But if you're a casual moviegoer and you go watch like the What If World War Hulk movie and he kills all the superheroes, then it's just like, damn, man, that's crazy.
That's why a lot of these movies do very well, because the casual moviegoer doesn't understand anything going on.
Yeah.
It's the argument that a lot of people seem to forget. The comic book industry is very, very tiny and niche.
Yeah.
The movie industry is massive in comparison.
Yeah.
And that's where a lot of your casual comic book fans and stuff are coming from.
Yeah.
That's where a lot of our viewers are coming from. They're just like, I just saw a movie about Doctor Strange. Oh, these are cool stories that he has,
Yeah. I want to go check those out.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, God. Okay, so with regards to the villains, kind of getting back on the idea of the villains.
Right.
Bringing them back is cool. I could see them doing something like not necessarily a Forever Evil, but something like a Legion of Doom sort of situation.
Did you know, as a tangent to go with villains though, Scott Snyder tweeted out, every fourth or fifth issue, I think fifth issue of his current Justice League run is not going to be about the Justice League. They're getting rid of the Justice League title, and it's going to be Legion of Doom, following their story of their formation.
That's badass.
Yes.
Oh, that'll
so like
be
you
fun.
get your own breathing room of the Legion of Doom story.
See, I like that better than doing like backup features.
Yeah.
Because backup features, you tend to forget they're there.
You do. Yes. And a lot of times, if I'm in a rush to read a comic, I get to the backup feature. Well, it can't be important. It's a backup feature.
Yeah.
So
it just says to be continued. It's like done.
Yeah, exactly.
That's it.
How many times have you gone to the end of a book and it said to be continued, and the epilogue was after that? But
Yeah.
you didn't know about it until someone's like, Rob, did you read the last 4 pages?
Yeah.
You're like, what do you mean? Those ads.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't understand, because they used to do that back in the 60s. You would just say like continued on next page. So like, it's kind of weird. But still, yeah, no, I mean, damn, man. The more I think about that, the more it's just like...
They need that kind of a thing. We need a Sinister Six.
Yeah, man, I mean, oh my God. Because then you can have a rotating roster.
Yeah.
You just bring villains in and out. And then you use it as a test bed. You're just like, okay, so like here's a Legion of Doom movie, like based on fan reaction, forum talk, Twitter posts, Facebook feeds, whatever. Like, which villain do people like the most? Well, I like Red Skull. Okay, cycle Red Skull out, put him into a movie. Like another movie with somebody else, and then cycle somebody in to take his place. I mean, oh my God, there's so much you could do with that. I mean, nobody wants to see Living Laser, but there's a lot that you can do with that.
Dude, Living Laser is my favorite villain.
Yeah, man. he sucks.
Like, you can't say that, Mister. My favorite's Mad Jim Jaspers.
Oh, dude, give me a movie about Jim Jaspers, man. I want to see Captain Britain be like,
do you know the story behind his obsession with Mad Jim Jaspers?
Oh, I love Jim Jaspers.
For the first year and a half, all Rob would do is be like, Mad Jim Jaspers, Mad Jim Jaspers.
Yes.
He's a guy in a diaper that can manipulate reality.
Not in a diaper.
He's in a diaper.
There's one. No, he was never in a diaper. He put Captain Britain in a diaper. There's this Gary. There's this crazy scene. Gary people, Twitch, whatever. There's this crazy scene where
Gary, Twitch, YouTube, wherever this is. This is about as off the rail. This is just.
Jim Jaspers was stupid overpowered. Like he was broken. Like they had to destroy his universe. He was so powerful. And then the main Marvel Universe one was stronger than that. And so Captain Britain goes to enter like the Prime Minister's office. And he's like, I gotta go stop, Mad Jim Jaspers. And when he opens the door, it opens up into like just this infinite expanse of space. And like Jim Jaspers is just like this massive, huge being. And just starts like snapping his fingers. And like reality just starts shifting around. And so like when he snaps his fingers, like Captain Britain's like a little kid in this boarding school. And then he snaps his fingers again and he's like in a whole other place. And things just keep shifting around. And he was like, you have no power here. Like there's nothing you can do to me. And they ended up taking the Fury, which is a caveat, but ended up taking the Fury to stop him. But Jim Jaspers was broken as hell. He was so OP. There's never been a display of reality warping in Marvel Comics like what Jim Jaspers did back then. It's never been done on that, like never been drawn on that kind of a scale. There's people as powerful, but it was never drawn in that way.
Did you ever end up doing a Mad Jim Jaspers video?
Yes, a few of them actually.
Did any of them do well?
Yeah.
Nice.
The Jim Jaspers Omega Beyond Omega level.
Did you have to make it?
No, I just called it like Omega Beyond Omega level Jim Jaspers.
That series did very well.
Yeah, that one blew up.
Yeah.
And then maybe I'll do another one because now I want to talk about him again.
You haven't really mentioned him in a long, long time. They used to be like your running gag.
So they dropped off characters like that because they were so broken.
Yeah.
How do you tell a story with a guy like that?
Well, that's the issue in comics in general. Like sometimes superheroes and villains don't match up well.
Yeah.
It's like even in DC with the Mr. Mixel-Piddalik and like Batmite.
Yeah.
Like, you can't use them on a regular basis. There's no way to stop them.
Yeah. I know Batmite was New 52. What happened to him?
Batmite?
Yeah.
He's not been around ever since DCU.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I want to see him come back. Batmite was awesome.
Batmite was never nearly as popular as Mixel-Piddalik.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
That's always been the issue with Batmite. Because Mixel-Piddalik is here to mess with you. Batmite's just a fan!
Yeah. There was one, was it World's Funniest? There's some version of Mixel-Piddalik. It was in like a goofy comic or a silly comic or something like that, but the power he displayed was just beyond anything that had ever happened with his character. He was just like this omnipotent, unstoppable force.
Yeah.
It was crazy how powerful he was. But no, I mean...
Yeah, let's do the closing remarks on MCU villains. And then we can talk about comic book randomness all over again.
Oh, yeah.
Because we're doing that now. We might as well end the actual episode.
Yeah, pretty much.
And just be us on here while wait for lunch to show.
Yeah. No, the idea of keeping the villains around, the idea of not killing the villains off, of making sure they stay around is a great idea because it gives them breathing room.
Yes.
It gives them the ability to say, okay, we're going to put this villain on the back burner. But like, what if Justin Hammer like went to Punisher and was like, I'll supply you with the weapons you need in order to, and that's it. That's all he does. Like, Punisher uses hammer tech.
I don't know why they don't reuse some of them in that manner. Like, Justin Hammer would be great for just what he'd be popping up.
Exactly.
What's it, General Ross?
Yeah.
He shows up all the time, and right now he's still a villain.
Yeah.
Even when he's Red Hulk, he's kind of a villain. But
yeah, that's true.
I don't think when did he ever really become like, I'm a true good guy?
I don't think he ever did.
Because even when he was on the Avengers, it was still kind of like, I'll help you, but I'm still working for the government.
I mean, with Thunderbolt, the Thunderbolts was a villain-based team. So he was, Thunderbolts, that's what I would do. Instead of calling it Legion of Doom, I call it Thunderbolts. That's exactly what I would do.
Yeah,
instead of
like
calling
a
it
Suicide Squad, basically.
Yeah, call it Thunderbolts. But yeah, no, I mean, yeah, like I would definitely, and that's kind of the funny thing is you can grab someone, you can grab like Justin Hammer and have him go to like Punisher and say like, I'll give you all the weapons you need in order to do your job. And like, and that's all the involvement is with him. And Punisher pays him however he can pay him, and then like it draws the attention of Tony Stark. And he's like, dude, you shouldn't be using hammer tech. And Punisher's like, dude, you don't want to go to war with me.
Yeah.
Because you'll lose.
Punisher versus Iron Man?
Punisher or any number of things. But it basically puts characters in situations you wouldn't normally see them in. Because that's what people want to see. That's what I want to see. I go see the movies not to see the story I already read, because I know how that story ends.
Yeah.
I go to see like a totally different take on that story.
That's my problem with Infinity War.
Yeah.
Like, that's my biggest issue. It's like, out of all the MCU movies, that one fell in line right exactly where I thought it was going to go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, not all the events are the same, but yeah, basically how it ends.
It gets to the same ending, and you're just like,
yeah, the exact same
all right.
ending.
I was kind of hoping you guys were going to throw me a curveball or something, but
yeah, but that's why I say, I mean, shifting villains around, moving things around, you know, kind of bounce them around. Like it gives them the ability to like to change things up totally. Because when you kill off a person, and this is one of the things they're going to have to come to grips with, is if they're going to follow the comic book trend where no one ever really stays dead. Because what's going to happen here is people will accept it once.
Yeah.
And they'll say, okay, well, it's Infinity War and it's the time stone,
yeah.
and so, you know. But like, if it happens again, then they're going to say, well, then it doesn't matter when anybody dies.
Yep.
And that'll destroy
The moment they
movie.
bring back any hero, that's when that's when it's gonna break it. It's gonna be just like when Death of Superman and he came back and you broke Death in comic books.
Yeah.
Or it's like
If Quicksilver
when
comes
Batman
back,
died,
yeah.
and Damien's just like, no, he's gonna come back. They're like,
The
Damien,
moment
why
the
are you not upset that your dad's dead? He's gonna come back. It's Batman.
It's
The
Batman.
problem
Yeah.
is that once they bring heroes and villains back, they bring them back to life at the end of Infinity War, they've broken Death in the movies.
Yeah.
And you're only going to get one pass due to the Infinity Gauntlet.
Yeah.
So if they ever do anything like that again, no one's going to care.
Yeah, I just looked like I smelled my feet a second ago.
Did you?
Well, no, I was scratching my foot, and then I'm like my nose itched, and I was like, oh my god, they're gonna think I'm smelling my feet.
Well, on that note, thank you for listening to. We've had a few episodes that are pretty rambly like this. Just discussions in general of us just going back and forth between a bunch of ideas.
We'll just change the topic for the title to we talk about Marvel villains.
Yeah, that's basically what we're going to do.
Yeah.
But yeah, thank you guys for joining us right here on Twitch. Stick around. We're going to be discussing more stuff. I want to talk to Rob about Spidey since he guessed everything that happened in it, which is funny. I want to talk to him about that.
About what?
The new Spider-Man, you guess the villain and everything that's going on in it. I
Oh,
want to see
yeah,
if you
yeah.
can guess the rest of it. So
Okay.
we're going to talk about that in a minute with Rob. We're waiting for our lunches to arrive and stuff like that. And then after we eat lunch, we'll be playing Bendy in the Ink Machine, I believe, unless Final Fantasy X ended up pulling ahead randomly. But I believe Bendy in the Ink Machine won. Me and Natalie are going to be doing that after this. But yes, stick around. If you're watching this on YouTube, please give us a subscription. Stick around. We talk about random things on Saturday. Sometimes they're more formulaic. Sometimes it's more just open discussions like this.
What are you doing for lunch?
I had him pick up Chick-fil-A.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we were trying to think of something different, but didn't really work out. Can I finish the outro, Rob?
Yeah,
Can I
sorry.
finish the outro?
Oh yeah, you're doing the outro. Yeah. I was kind of zoned out for a minute. Yeah, go ahead, man.
Anyway, yeah, we're heading out. You got me off my... Thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed this, please support us over on Patreon, patreon.com/Comicstorian, where you get this and like 4 other podcasts early and early access to a lot of our videos. You can also catch it live here on Twitch at twitch.tv/eligiblemonster. Stick around, we're gonna be playing some games, me and Natalie afterwards. And if you're watching this, if you're just listening to this on iTunes, please consider giving us a good rating. We really would appreciate it. Thank you, and that's it. Mwah! Love you all.